do in your everyday life in order to balance things out, to say, okay, oh my God, today's a stressful day? What do you do for me time? And your question too.
You know what I do? Especially for my children, we have a saying in my house. And I ask them, if you're having a bad day, are you okay? They're not allowed to lie and say, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. I said, don't dismiss your feelings and your emotions. So in our house, we say, I'm not okay, but I will be.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
And I have a 72-hour rule in my house. You got 72 hours to deal with this thing. The first 24, you take it in, because that's a lie. You got to figure out that next 24, now you're on your 48 hours. Now it's time for you to look at how much of that is me, how much of that is the person or the situation, what can I do to change it, and what did I learn from it. That next 24 hours, you're now in your 72 hours. My kids, I tell them, now you have to put it into action. What are you going to do to change it? Because sitting in the room crying, guess what's going to happen? You're going to cut off them lights, you're going to cry, you're going to get up the next day, cut them lights on, and that problem going to be in the corner like, hey girl, I was waiting on you to get up, and now that you were up, let me work your head.
Oh my God,
so
that's true.
You cannot run from it. So I think for me, the best thing is letting my children see my broken moments, letting them see me cry, letting them see me in that state where I'm like, Mama doesn't know what to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have an answer right now.
And that's what I like, because so often you hear kids talking about, well, I didn't know my mom and dad were getting a divorce. They never argued.
Yeah.
And you have to effectively argue so kids can know when they're in relationships how to have that dialogue, how to argue. Because I'm so against women or in a relationship and the kids don't know anything, and then you're like, okay, we're getting a divorce. Or the minute the kids turn 18 and going off to college.
Ain't that the worst?
Because that's the problem that I have with that, is the husband and wife are not having a relationship. Everything is centered around the children, which is a no-no. So when the kids are off to college, here comes the divorce. Now, what is your take on that?
Yes, I think that to piggyback on the selfishness conversation we were having earlier and how that's looked at as a bad word, I think that we have to be selfish, and when we are our best versions of ourselves, then we can be better for everyone and everyone around us. So in terms of being my best version, like Drea talked about being a vegan, what you put inside, that old saying, you are what you eat.
Join the club. You vegan too?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Yes, you got me. She coming on to the
Come on.
And it's happening naturally, not even from I'm just naturally going in. But that's my point. That old saying, you are what you eat, So it starts with that. But it also starts with what I put into my mind. What am I feeding my mental? So I'm very conscious about making sure that daily people talk. I'm not an every Sunday go to church person, but I am an every day put something in my mind to lift me spiritually so that I can be more aligned again and be better for myself. And then the other part of the physical is working out and staying fit. I never feel like I'm doing enough of it, but it is important. That's another part, because that makes me feel good. And when I don't, I feel it, and it affects my mental, my attitude. I can be a little especially because I'm single right now. I gotta work out. I gotta get it out some kind of way. So if I don't work out,
we might be
all that stuff.
Bump on my phone.
You know what I'm saying?
It's backed up.
Yeah, you don't want to be out with your girls like you breaking out. Now that's
you already know. That's
that's what that is.
Getting on bump, and you ain't been to the gym.
Yes,
something. Okay. Too much comfort food, all of that. So yeah, it's all of that.
Lord
But also, let me tell you what my number one thing though is to just stay in touch with my joy.
Yes.
Your mental is just so important. And so when I'm feeling a little stanky, then I find someone that will help me feel better. I may watch a TV show that it makes me laugh. But I just find a way to stay connected to feeling better. That will aid you quickly or not.
And that's why it's so important. I like that you said, you want to stay in the joy, because it's so important. We have these emotional vampires that are out here that want to suck your life force.
Yes.
So you have to make sure that they're nowhere in your vicinity, because I hear people, there's that saying about your enemies don't deserve the front row of your life, they deserve back row. Hell, take them out of the arena.
They don't have to be in your life at all.
Thank you. So that's why it's so important to have cheerleaders. That's why it's so important to have people who, when your light is about to get dim because you're exhausted, someone's back there with that ever ready about to light you up. You know what I'm saying? It's important for us to have that.